for coming tonight. As you all know, we have a very special guest tonight. I'm super excited for him. Gustavo Arellano, author of Ask a Mexican and the column that's also named the same thing. So I'm going to read a very simple, generic thing that I got off the internet about him. He was born in Anaheim, California, to a tomato canner and an illegal immigrant. His Ask a Mexican column won the 2006 Association of Alternative News Weekly's award for the best column in a large circulation weekly. And he's appeared on Today, Nightline, NPR's On the Media, The Situation with Tucker Carlson, and the Colbert Reports. So please help me welcome you, Gustavo Arellano.
Thank you, Occidental, for having me. It really is an honor. This is just a really basic stuff. I'll explain it later. And if you do have an ad for sale, please let me know. We can talk after class. My name is Gustavo Arellano. For those of you aspiring authors out there, just a really brief bit of advice. Whenever you have a captive audience, use it to plug everything you've ever written or anything you do. So just give, folks, just give me like 2 or 3 minutes while I talk about the things that I do. I'm what my card title says. I'm a staff writer for the OC Weekly. The OC Weekly is a free newspaper given out in Orange County, down the 5 freeway. We're the sister paper to LA Weekly here. So if you can't pick it up, you can always go to ocweekly.com. And for the OC Weekly, I do 3 things. The most important job by far, I'm the food editor for the OC Weekly. So if God ever condemns you to go down to Orange County, email me, I'll make it easier for you. I'll tell you where to go eat at all the great restaurants. I've been doing that job for years and years and years. I love to eat food. I'm also an investigative reporter. As an investigative reporter, since we're a small paper, we kind of divide the county into all these different facets. So I'm the person in charge of anything that happens in Orange County in regards to immigration, regards to religion, regards to education, regards to the cities of North and Central County like Anaheim, Santana, Brea, like anything involving that, anything involving sports, and also anything involving history, like what we call historical journalism, where we do big 5,000-word stories on incidents that happened in the past of Orange County that for whatever reason aren't really known. So I'm in charge of that. And I only say that because it's eventually going to lead up to what I'm here to talk about, which is what gets me the most notoriety, Ask a Mexican. And then Ask a Mexican, it's basically what it sounds like. People send me questions about Mexicans, and I answer them. And it doesn't matter what the questions are. They could be racist questions, they could be sexist questions, they could be questions about history, questions about taxes, questions about why Aztecs worshipped midgets back in the days, which they did, questions about tomatoes, questions about anything you could possibly imagine. Whatever the questions may be, I answer them. And the purpose of the column is not just to joke around, it's to debunk stereotypes and misconceptions about Mexicans with the facts, with opinions, with a lot of debunking of stereotypes, and with a lot of Spanish cuss words at the end. Whatever it takes to answer the question, I will answer that. That's what I'm going to speak about. That's the purpose of me being here tonight. But let me just talk about a little bit more of the other things that I do. And I forgot to write that, actually. I also write op-ed pieces for the LA Times. About once a month, I'll do an op-ed piece, just usually about Orange County, but sometimes about food. Like I did a story recently about the lack of a particular kind of Mexican food here in Southern California, food from the state of Zacatecas, which I'll also talk about in a bit. I come out on radio quite often every other week. Thursdays at 10:30, I come out on KPCC 89.3 FM with Larry Mantle, where we talk about Orange County issues. There's 3 people. There's a conservative guy, there's a liberal guy, and I'm the wacky guy, supposedly wacky, crazy to be more specific. I also have my own radio show. In fact, it comes out on today, so it comes out Thursdays, every Thursday at 3 o'clock. On KPFK FM 90.7, I'm on for 1 hour. It's a little bit of a mix of things to do in Southern California, great books to read, issues to rally about. But so every Thursday at 3 o'clock, if you could listen, I'd appreciate it. I also do commentaries for Marketplace, which comes out every day at 3 o'clock and at 6:30 on 89.3 KPCC. Dealing with Marketplace is a really cool show about business and economics. So I do commentaries once a month. And then the final thing I'll say. And then, of course, I wrote Ask a Mexican book, which I'll talk about later, and then Orange County, which I'll talk about in a bit. And then the final thing I'll say, if you like at all the ramblings that I say today, be my fan on Facebook, won't you? So just type in Ask a Mexican, and then you'll see the logo, and just type in there, then just be my fan. And so there, if you like my stuff, I used to have an email list, but Facebook is so easy to keep in contact with people. So what I do, if people are interested, I put up my column that I do every week, because my Ask a Mexican column comes out every week. I'll put in random articles. We have a whole bunch of fun on Facebook. So if you like anything I say today, please do. But I'm here today then to talk about Ask a Mexican, about the column that I do, which has its fans, it has its detractors, but it's been quite a lot of fun to do. And for me, it's something that's really important. Before I talk about the column, though, to give you folks a sense of where I come from, I have to tell you a little bit about my own personal story. And my personal story, of course, starts with my parents. Both of my parents come from a state in Mexico called Zacatecas. Anybody from Zacatecas here? There was, in the back. Cool. And I say that, Zacatecas is a state in central Mexico which has hundreds of thousands of people from Zacatecas living in Southern California now. My mom, she came here legally in the early 1960s because my grandmother, she was born in Arizona back when it was actually still a territory, because her parents had fled the Mexican Revolution. So she, born in Arizona, became an American citizen, went back to Mexico, had her family. So my mom was born in Zacatecas, but then they came up here in the early 1960s. And when they came up here, since my grandmother was an American citizen, her children could pass. They were already legal residents. So my mom came here legally. My dad, on the other hand, the first time when he came to this country was in the trunk of a Chevy in 1968, along with two other men. So imagine one of them being his cousin, the other one being a stranger. So imagine being 18 years old. Maybe some of you are just a couple of years removed from being 18. So imagine being 18 years old in the trunk of a Chevy along with two other men. And the Chevy goes from Tijuana all the way up to Chinatown in Los Angeles. So not that far away from here, but 2.5 hours away from the U.S.-Mexico border. So my dad did that trip. The car never stopped, 2.5 hours nonstop. The first thing he did when he set foot upon this glorious country, he ran to the bathroom because he drank too many beers beforehand, had to hold it in the entire time. That was the first time he came to this country. Another time, he hopped the fence, back in the days when it was just a chain link fence instead of the three-pronged barbed wire monstrosity that's there. Another time, I guess he didn't want to jump the fence, so he cut a hole through the fence and then crawled through. Another time, there was no fence, so he just walked across a desert in the middle of July, because that's so easy to do, right? Another time, the American government charged them charged them and convicted him of identity theft. But I don't think it's identity theft when you ask somebody to borrow their identity and they let you borrow. Last time my dad came into this country illegally, he crawled through a sewer for about an hour. And we're not talking about big, huge sewers like they have in Phantom of the Opera or Parisian sewers of the 1800s. No, we're talking about an actual sewer. Like, you know exactly like what sewer, like if you've ever seen The Shawshank Redemption, like that type of sewer.